Hi, if you're watching this video, you are going to play the cello in Palo Alto Unified School District. So I'm up in the Sierras playing a wonderful music festival, and I will be traveling down in about a week to begin the school year here in Palo Alto. There in Palo Alto. So I want you to take a look at this cello. The cello is not laying on its back, it's laying on its side, okay? And the reason it's laying on its side is because there's the wood here that's this big and it's really stable. If you put the cello on the floor, somebody might come and trip over it and hurt the front of the instrument, which is the most fragile part. So the purpose of this video is to show you and your parents how to safely take care of your instrument at home and at school, okay? Because they're very, very, very fragile and we have to keep them safe. For instance, if you take your instrument to school and it starts to rain, that instrument, it's not good for it to get wet. And not all the cases, especially soft cases, are waterproof. So you might want to ask your teacher if there's someplace safe when the weather's bad, or even sort of in a permanent basis for your instrument to stay in the classroom. Okay? Oftentimes there are counters that don't have anything underneath, and that's just the perfect place to make sure that your instrument doesn't get kicked or bumped. Okay? And at home, you want to put the instrument away from traffic, you want to keep it away from your pets, and you want to not let anybody else play it, especially younger siblings. They're going to be very curious and they're going to want to try, but don't do it, okay? It's part of my policy and the district policy to not share your instruments with anyone. There will be a point in the school year where you're going to be teaching one of your parents how to play, however, but that'll come later. Okay, so here I am. I'm in a cello chair, well, sort of patio cello chair, and I'm going to get the instrument out. Now, if you have a soft case, most cellists put the case on its back. So you see the lump right here, and that's what you need to protect. So I'm going to bend over, and I'm going to show you. There's a zipper right here that's on the side, this side of the case, to protect the end pin. And the end pin comes out. There's a hole for it. Now, I'm going to bring the instrument up and unzip it this way. Now, before you take the instrument out, you must take the bow out of the case because people don't really know the bow is there. And that's another reason why you want to keep the instrument stored on its side in the case. Now, in order to get the cello out, I'm going to have to back out like I'm putting the car in reverse and bring the instrument out this way because the neck is protected with no zipper up top. Okay? And now I'm going to get the cello out. And you notice the cello case is open, and I bring it this way. So, when you have your instrument out and you're not playing, the safest thing you can do is put it back in the case. But second safest would be keeping it on its side where it can be stable with the shoulders. Yeah? Okay. So now that we have the instrument out, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So a lot of what we do is we unscrew and we screw things. So if you want to make something looser, when you're unscrewing something, you go to the left. Same with the strings. You want to make it looser, you go to the left with the tuners. I will be showing you maybe around May to use the pegs a little bit. But you must not use the pegs now. If you want to tune the instrument, you can use the tuners. Turning it to the left makes the string looser, and turning it to the right makes it tighter and higher, okay? I'm going back to being in tune. Okay, so I'm pulling the end pin out. I think this is about where I need it. So the instrument rests on my sternum, which is right here. And the end pin, you have to tighten it or it won't stay. And the C-string peg will go right behind your left ear. Okay? Now to continue, I'm going to put the instrument on its side safely and get out the rosin. So every time we play the instrument, we rosin the bow. And there's a pocket for your rosin right here. And you see that the rosin is protected on the side by a piece of wood, and that makes your fingers not get sticky. I don't like having rosin on my fingers. So you notice that the bow is loose, the hair is loose, and you can see a few hairs that are floating out there, and you want to tighten the bow. So again, I'm tightening a screw by going clockwise to make the hair tighter. Okay? And then I'm using my shirt instead of my skin because we don't ever want to get skin oils in the horsehair. Yeah? Makes the bow sort of sound like it's got soap on it. So I'm testing to see if I can push down the wood and not go all the way down to the hair. And now I know that the bow's ready. If you tighten the bow too much, you lose this curve, and then it's like a bow and arrow. And we're not going to see that, right? Okay, so I'm putting the bow in my hand, and I'm turning the rosin over, and you see there's a silver thing. It has a little rosin on it. That's because in order to make the rosin cracked and loose to get in the split ends of the horsehair, you have to bump it. So I've covered the frog area. Now I'm doing the middle, and I'm really holding very tightly here. And then all the way to the tip, and all the way back down. And now I'm going to put the rosin back in the rosin case and zip it up because I'm not going to use it again. All right. It's always best to handle your cello by the neck because that's the only place you can get a good grip up. Okay. So here I am ready to play. All right. Now we're going to go in reverse to show you how to put the instrument away safely. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to wipe the rosin off the string. So you need a wipe cloth. This is just an old t-shirt cut up. You can use an old towel. You need to wipe off the strings and the fingerboard and here where the rosin will fall. Okay. Now, and you need to do the same for the wood of the bow. If you get too much rosin in the wood and in the varnish, it stifles the sound. So you want to wipe every time after you use the instrument. Okay? Now, I'm going to put the bow away. Nope, not first. Before I do that, I want to tell you more about why the instrument is so fragile. So, the end pin is not glued. That's not necessarily fragile, but you see the two synthetic strings here circle around the end pin and hold the tailpiece, and none of that's glued. So the tailpiece is not glued, this is not glued. You travel up here to the bridge is not glued. And underneath the cello, right about here, is a piece of cylindrical wood that it touches the top and it touches the bottom, and it makes the two vibrate together, and that's not glued. Fingerboard's glued. This is a fingerboard, but the strings travel up into the pegs, which are not glued, and the strings are also not glued. So you can see if you have major parts of an instrument that aren't glued, it's really important that you make sure that everything's safe. Okay? So we will be learning how to tune with the tuners and not the pegs. Probably we might do some of the peg work in May, in the springtime, because you might be ready. We'll see. Okay, and you see I didn't screw in the end pin. Now I'm going to screw in the end pin. And I've wiped off the strings, I've wiped off the bow. and I'm going to put the instrument in backwards. And it's so important that you put the scroll in first, and then you fit the cello into the area on the ground, and then you bring this over and cover it up. And at this point, it's a good time to put the bow in the bow holder. And also a good time to put the wipe cloth in the wipe cloth holder. And now I'm going to roll this onto its side, and I'm going to zip up the cello case, make sure everything is covered up. And I get to the end pin, and I'm going to lift it up to the other side and zip up there. And that's how to keep your cello safe. I don't think I missed anything. I love the cello, and I think you're going to have an amazing time. And I'm looking forward to meeting you. And Mrs. Mumford is also looking forward to meeting you. She is the other teacher in the school district. Okay, thank you.